And joining us with more analysis on the latest out of the conflict in the Middle East is Shahin Modarres. He's director of the Iran desk at ITSS Verona and research analyst at the Monitoring Jihadism Project. Shahin, thank you so much for joining us on the show. So we know stocks rose and oil steady, after Trump said the Iran war, that is, was far ahead of schedule. I'm not sure anyone knows what it actually means. But I'm wondering what the view is from Tehran the day after making a defiant choice in Mojtaba. I mean, is it going to be seen as an olive branch, or is it going to be, heck, we're just getting started?
Hello, Julian Arnold. Thank you for having me. First of all, I don't believe that it's going to be seen as an olive branch, because when we look at actually the precedents, the ideological precedent of the teaching that he has had, is that he's quite a hardliner, even worse than his father. And what else we can see is the fact that he has been one of the oligarchs of the Islamic Republic trying to develop a corrupted network since 2009. And it is quite interesting that since the elections of 2009, his name has been brought up in the public by the Iranian people, chanting against him so that he will not become the next supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, but yet that happened.
Shahin, it's obviously not clear what victory would actually look like for the U.S., especially after President Trump said America hasn't won enough in Iran. What do you think enough actually means here? And how real is the prospect of U.S. boots on the ground?
Well, that's quite tricky, because first of all, we should consider that in this equation, there is another actor called Israel. And for Israel, nothing would be accepting unless the eradication of the Islamic Republic, because one way or another, if the Islamic Republic stays, it will try to revive those three programs: the nuclear program, the ballistic missile program, and the proxy groups, which is something that after the paradigm shift of October 7th is no longer acceptable for Israel. On the other hand, what President Trump said earlier regarding reducing the launchers and the ballistic missile capabilities of the Islamic Republic to only 10% makes this equation dangerous, that the US actually might leave this scene, and it is something that might have happened in case Israel was not involved. But now that Israel is involved, in my opinion, it takes a political change within the Islamic Republic system for the war to be over.
Shahin, we know that some of President Trump's decision-making is based on economic pressure, like the stock market or surging oil prices making their way to gasoline prices. I'm wondering, how aware is Iran of this, and how does it tailor its actions in response to this?
Well, the Islamic Republic is not a rational actor. It is playing completely irrationally, and what we can see as them attacking neighboring countries, even ally countries such as Qatar and Oman, let alone of the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, the Kurdistan region in Iraq, shows one fact, that in this system, after the elimination of Ali Khamenei, the hierarchy of the armed forces and the political status quo has been broken. That is what it represents. And in this situation, in my opinion, they are not capable of understanding or interpreting President Trump's sensitivities regarding the market or the oil price, because what they are doing is that they are blindly attacking their also allies in desperate hope, so that they might lobby and put pressure on either US or Israel to come to a ceasefire with the Islamic Republic. But what's happening in reality is that they have created and formed a new coalition against themselves. So there is also an Arabic part to this coalition now.
Okay, understood. John, just want to quickly ask you about what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. The idea that the only immediate relief or immediate solution would be that the US Navy and allies like France escort, ships through the waterway. This was an idea that was surfaced over a week ago. Hasn't happened yet. I'm wondering why you think there's been a delay and what you can say about how Iran has actually asserted control over the strait. I mean, one analyst we know calls it Death Valley.
Well, Iran has asserted control over the Strait of Hormuz through the ownership of 3 islands within the Persian Gulf that are the Greater Tomb, the Lesser Tomb, and Abu Musa Island, which belong to Iran, and through the strategic privilege that it gives the country, it has been able to create a sort of dominance over the Strait of Hormuz. Yet, however, we should consider that the Islamic Republic within Iran has been hostile towards other countries and towards the international community, considering the crucial role that the Strait of Hormuz plays in transporting a significant part of the oil market within the world. Now, what they claim is that they are going to block the Strait of Hormuz. Is the Islamic Republic capable of doing so? Yes, they are capable of doing so by what they have created so far, like the speedy boats of the IRGC and stuff like that, and actually sea mines that they have planted within the region. But there is a big difference here. They can close the Strait of Hormuz, but they cannot keep it closed because the US will not allow this. Now, here's the part that might come as a consequence of what the Islamic Republic has done, which is the US taking control of those 3 islands as well as the island of Khark in Iran as a de facto in order to make sure that the Strait of Hormuz will not be blocked anymore. I'm afraid that's a possibility right now.
Okay, so Shahin, I wonder, what are the realistic endgame scenarios for this conflict? What would the escalation realistically look like at this stage, and who has the leverage to make it happen?
Well, if we look at the current situation, what we can see is something that can change this equilibrium is the entrance of the troops, the ground troops, but that's not going to happen in my opinion, because for a country as vast as Iran, approximately you need something between 800,000 to 1,200,000 soldiers, which is something that right before the midterm election is not going to happen in the United States. But what we might witness is the airborne troops entering and paving the way for special forces for retrieving over 400 kilograms of 60% purified uranium that the Islamic Republic still possesses, or for the elimination of a certain political figure such as Mojtaba Khamenei or any other figure who might be residing within a hospital, within an elementary school, or any civilian zone. In that case, special forces will be needed. But about the end game here, in my opinion, again, considering that Israel is also playing a role in this political war equilibrium here, I believe nothing less than the eradication of the Islamic Republic led by its hardliners is going to be accepted. So in my opinion, there is a possibility that we are finally witnessing the end and the demise of the Islamic Republic in Iran.
Shahin, we have to leave it there. Very good talking to you on the show today. That was Shahin Modarres, Iran team lead for the international team for the study of security, Verona in Rome.